They say Kevin Durant in here, you know what I'm saying, going at it with some fans about him being top 5 in the NBA. Now, I ain't gonna lie. He top 10 to me. I ain't gonna lie. It don't matter. I'm taking out Larry Bird, putting Kevin Durant, and then replacing Larry Bird in a discussion. I ain't doing no talking. That's how I feel. That's what it is. He in there. I think he in there top 10 for sure. Might not be top 5, but he in there for sure. Let's get into it.
Well, like, what's your point?
The point I'm making is that, again, when it comes to assessing players, and I get you saying that you don't do this, but I think that in particular, especially the gap between 5, 6, and 7, there probably will be nitpicks. My argument is that, like, if my argument towards why you're not is that the value of who you are as a scorer, especially rim pressure and getting to the basket, isn't where it needs to be
Where
to
does it
put
need
you
to be?
in
Where does it need to be?
Wait,
it needs to
what?
be,
What?
especially rim pressure and getting to the basket, that the value of who you are as a scorer, especially rim pressure and getting to the basket, isn't where it needs to be
Where
to
does
put.
it?
What? He could do whatever he want to do on the court. He get to the basket, but he mostly hitting jumpers, which is a more skill, right? Higher difficulty of skill, and he's shooting difficult shots, hitting jump. Well, the nigga is about 7 foot, shooting over people, but still, he's efficient. Everybody can't do that. So what does that got to do with anything? Like what?
Putting you in con-
Where does it need to be?
If we're talking about other players who are getting to the free throw line and put more rim pressure, such as like a Luka, then I think that like that right there would be in favoring a Luka. If
What does that matter? Like
I'm
what?
comparing you and Luka, I would undeniably say that he gets to the rim more often. He puts more pressure on the basket more often. Like those are things that I would undeniably say are true.
He's shooting
So
jumpers.
what's that? I mean, so like, what's his play style? What point are you trying to make?
Yeah, that don't make nothing. What the fuck?
Nothing we do will make it go. All Spice does not yet.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is that if I'm having a conversation with somebody and we're discussing the ability to score, the dynamic ability to
The one of the best scorers of all time. Kobe, Michael Jordan, Durant.
score, just even offense in general, right? Again, if people want to just blanketly say about the scoring aspect, I'm fine with the idea of you scoring. But if I then bring up the lack of rim pressure in contrast to someone like Luka and why I would favor Luka, if their immediate response to that would be, I think potentially an embellishment of how often you get to the free throw line, and then I'm comparing you to Luka or I bring up to Luka, then that's where like the disconnect happens. Because then even especially if I bring up somebody else who I just believe gets more pressure to the rim than you,
What does that have to fucking do with anything? Scoring is scoring, bro. Whether he getting to the rim or he's shooting jumpers, which is shooting jumpers is harder than shooting hitting buckets at the rim. He's shooting jumpers. Everybody can't shoot, especially like him, as efficient as him. And he can still get to the rim. So what are you talking about? He can get to the rim. He don't have to drive to the rim. He shoot. He drives, but he's a shooter. He can do it all. Like that doesn't even make sense. Like what the fuck? That's like saying you could have said Russell Westbrook because how Westbrook or anybody else LeBron get to the rim. But what does that mean? Durant could shoot, and he can shoot with your hand in his face like this. So what does that mean? Like that don't make sense. Like what?
especially like a Luka or a Giannis, then they pivot to another conversation that has nothing to do with what we're talking about or what besides accepting. And so when you're saying that you think you got to the free throw line a lot in that series, I think 2 of those games you did. I don't think that the remainder of the series you did though.
Well, I guess. So your point is that like you don't want to put me in the same conversation with Luka and the rest of the top 5 guys. That's what this whole space is about, right?
No, my point is that people who have you where they have you should be consistent for one.
No, but Lo, you don't think he's top 5, so stop dancing around
Yes,
the question.
but that's not.
That's
I think
insane.
you make this shit way more complicated than it should be when it's involved in the game. Like who talking? Yo, you're not good because of rim pressure.
Like, what the
Like, I
fuck?
didn't even know y'all.
Who said that you weren't good though?
No,
Who
Nigga
said
said because of rim pressure. What the fuck?
Talking the game, like.
Oh, well, I never said that you weren't good. That
No,
never came out
I'm
of my
just
mouth.
saying. I'm just using that as an example. Like we talking.
Oh, well,
Playoffs.
I don't know.
Like, you and your friends.
Hey,
talk, that's like
KD,
not
KD,
talking. It's just like the way
KD,
ball.
how you
No,
feel?
wait, I
How
think, boy, stop.
how you feel about
Stop.
Bill and your team?
Oh, fuck, bro.
I just think the way ball being talked about nowadays, not just you, but just in general, I just be looking like it's
Yeah, because that didn't make
it's
sense what he even just said,
too
bro.
many layers that people
Because he don't put enough
justify
pressure,
if it
real
was
pressure. Like, what?
basketball. They view
Nigga scoring is scoring. Whether at the rim,
what they say
or
is
shooting
the
jumpers.
holy grail basketball. I just be thinking it's be a bunch of so.
Yes, I think getting rim pressure can definitely be a determination on the evaluation of someone, especially when your coach last season, Monty Williams, would go to the podium and complain about how y'all weren't getting enough free throw attempts every other game. Now, you weren't on that team for most of that time, but when Monty Williams used to complain about the lack of free
Kevin
throw,
Durant, if he want to do that, he could do that, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. He go to the rim. He could do that if he want to. He might do it as much as Giannis because that's not his game, but he can definitely do that game. Like, what you talking
Attempts.
about?
yeah,
Kevin Durant is definitely top 5. If you talking about just an NBA today, top 5. Stop that bullshit.
Every coach should come up there and say it.
no, Monty used to do it routinely. And I think that did hurt the Suns' offense last year. The lack of appearances at the free throw.
I ain't gonna lie, KD. You shouldn't even be in this, bro. You wasting your time. You got too much time to be doing this shit. You shouldn't have to be in this shit talking to these niggas about this shit, bro. What? Come on, bro. Cause the world, niggas know what's going on with you, gang. What Stephen A. say? When he's healthy, he's the #1 player in the world. And I agree.
But it's hard to get free throw attempts if you're not attacking the basket. Would you not agree?
I don't think I just settled for threes though.
I didn't say you.
Don't.
You asked me the evaluation of rim pressure. There is a
That
lot
shit
of
don't fucking matter.
I just think when
I mean, it matter, but
you break the 3-point line, not necessarily you don't always necessarily have to get to the rim, but I think
Yeah, like,
you
what the
create a
fuck?
lot if you just break the 3-point line.
you shoot jumpers. Tell Giannis to shoot jumpers all day.
Behind the 3-point line, I feel like
The fuck?
a lot of teams, a lot of players can settle and just shoot a lot of threes. But once you break that, you're gonna get the defense to react. Now, if you get over to the rim, that's cool. But sometimes you can just touch the paint, beginning of the paint, and then you can create something or make it or take an easy shot. I feel like if I pull up in the lane, regardless of laying the ball up, that's a layup.
It is, because it's that easy.
And in that series, you just so happen to be shooting bad
On my what?
on what you would consider a layup to you. You were just shooting bad on your layups in that series.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But my career ain't just about one series though.
But the top 5 argument isn't about your career either. It's about this season.
But a lot of, I mean, who?
Here are 3 reasons why you should buy a new gaming PC from Build Redux. 1, we offer the best pricing on quality gaming PCs. 2,
Who in your top 5 first off?
Right now,
Let's hear that.
Jokic, Giannis, Curry, Luke, Embiid.
One more time.
Jokic, Giannis, Curry, Luke, Embiid.
Ooh. I'm taking. Ooh. If we're going off based off last season, maybe because he was hurt. Come on, gang. Nah, fuck that. Durant in that top 5. Take Luka out. Fuck is you talking about?
Why you choose that 5? That's a great 5. I mean, you can't go wrong with anything. There's so many players in this league, like, you can put a whole totally different 5 and be like, oh, that's cool too. They all play well too.
Nah.
So why that 5?
I think the top 3 in particular are consistently Reddit.
Luka got his ass put out early. He didn't even make it. They didn't even make it. Durant's top 5. Stop that.
Relative to like a lot of other players, especially this season, are more available than a lot of other players. I think they tend to translate, or at least they have something that can translate at a very high level in the postseason when teams are specifically scheming against them better than a lot of other people. And I also think that just their impact, regardless of like, obviously like Giannis's impact defensively is different from like Jokic and vice versa. But for example, I just think like Jokic's impact on the offensive side of the floor and the things that he's able to provide really does alter not only what his team can do, but also how the opposing team defends them. And I think the more valuable and the more consistent you are at that, especially trying to alter teams
I want to hear Gilbert Arenas' take on this. That's what I want to hear.
offensively or defensively in the postseason, lends to me favoring you higher than one person or the other. And then, but for me personally, I just think that if, in particular to you, if there's a noticeable regression from the shot making that you have, especially when you're going up against more physical forwards such as Aaron Gordon or the year prior, JT and them in Boston, then that's kind of a pause for question.
He trying to be fucking funny.
That's why I would hesitate to put you top 5.
I wouldn't. Me being in your top five, I'm not. There's nothing wrong with me not being in your top five. I just want
It's an opinion.
to know what's your criteria. Everybody got different criteria. Me being top 10, me being
Yeah, you clearly top 10. You're top 10.
me not being in the top 10. I'm not sitting here like, oh, you're totally wrong about that. I understand.
No, them niggas is totally wrong, Katie. Stop playing. Tony, stop playing with your name. They totally wrong.
You got your own perspective on the game. I just want to know what everybody's criteria. I think everybody got different criteria about for why they watch the game.
And again, I agree. If their criteria heavily favor things that you are heavily impactful on, then I have no problem with that.
No,
But
I'm not trying to convince you to change your top five.
oh no. I'm not specifically talking about you either. I'm talking about anybody else. If their criteria is heavily favoring things that you are highly impactful on, then I have no problem. But if like somebody tells me the reason why somebody else can't be top 5 because they missed XYZ amount of games in the regular season, but they end up playing more games.
I feel like he going off just last season. If he going just last season, that's cool, whatever. Alright, because he was hurt a lot of shit. Well, he was going crazy last season. Before he got hurt, him and Kyrie was doing their thing. It was number one. They got the number one in the East. They was doing their thing. And I think they didn't split up. They done went to the finals. But they was hooping. It was hooping. He was hooping. Man, hell nah. Nigga crazy. That nigga top 5.
You did in the regular season.
He was top 5.
Well, then that doesn't, you know what I'm saying? That criticism
He was still top 5.
You're criticizing them for a lack of games played, but then overlooking that when it comes to you. And that's where I'm saying the standard seems to be different, because how are you criticizing player A for lack of games played, but KD last year only played 47 games?
He just crashed out, by the way. He probably gonna come back up. Just want to let you know, big dog.
Oh my
I
god!
just want to know how he evaluates shit. To be honest with you, like
Yeah. I just want to know. I mean,
and
I just want to hear his answer
makes,
to one
like,
question.
what makes a player good in his eyes?
And Lo, why do you keep wait? Because Lo, why do you keep doing? He's trying to figure out.
No cap, nigga, tweaking.
Like why you are so upset? Like why he's not? Why other niggas think he's top 5, bro?
I've already answered it several times. The
He is, man.
I've already answered it. I don't know how many other times I can answer the question, nigga. If you, I'm literally outlining the question right now. It's the inconsistency on the standard and what you're holding him to. If you're going to criticize,
but he's saying that people are held to inconsistencies all the time.
But that shit was that shit is crazy, bro. First of all, Luka is not over Kevin Durant. I don't give a fuck what's going on. He's not over Kevin Durant, bro. Stop that dumb shit.